Hi all, Mrs. Everard here. I'm going to go over the notes on page 27 in your packet. This section, it's called, we're finding exact values for angles that, in this case, the ones I'm going to do are all on the unit circle. So we're really going to use that unit circle. So the very first thing that I'm going to do, I kind of break these problems into three different questions that I ask myself. The first one, I'm going to say, what family does the angle belong to? Because if I know the family that it belongs to, and I memorize those three ordered pairs from the unit circle, I can figure out the ordered pair. Okay, so I'm going to run out of room here, but these are the two I memorize, and then the pi over 3, I just reverse what I got for the pi over 6. So when I ask myself that question, what family, I then steal the ordered pair from the family. So this family is the pi over 3 family, because reduce, that denominator is a 3. So I know the ordered pair. The second thing I want to ask myself is, what quadrant is it in? And I might need to do a road map. I could certainly do that if I need to. Some of us are a little bit more number savvy, so you might know immediately where it's at. But if you don't, you could use a road map, and it's in quadrant 4. So now I'm going to put those two together, and I'm going to come up with the ordered pair. And then I'll actually answer the question. So the ordered pair, I know, is the pi over 3 family ordered pair, which is 1/2 comma root 3 over 2. I know in quadrant 4 that the first number in the ordered pair is positive and the second one is negative. So I'm going to fix my ordered pair. And now I'm going to answer the question. The question asks for the sign. Remember, this is always cosine. If we're on the unit circle, this is the cosine and this is the sine. I always think x comes before y alphabetically. C comes before s. So I know that negative root 3 over 2 is the answer to the sine of 5 pi over 3. Now I'm going through those steps, those three questions, but as you get better, it's really not going to be as long of a problem, but I just want to make sure you understand how this works. So the second one, I know it's the family of pi over 6's, so I know I can steal that ordered pair. The second thing I'm going to do is figure out the quadrant it's in, and I could use a road map. I know it's going to be the third quadrant. So then I'm going to put those two together. I'm going to take my memorized ordered pair for the pi over 6 family. In the third quadrant, the x and y values are both negative. Now I'll use the ordered pair because remember it's our shortcut. This is the cosine of 7 pi over 6 and this is the sine. The question is asking for the cosine. So I'm going to take the x coordinate. Okay. The next question, number 3, asks us for the tangents. We're going to have to do a little bit of work on this one. We first figure out what family it belongs to so we can steal that ordered pair. We're going to figure out the quadrant it's in, and you could use your road map, or you might know that it's in the second quadrant. And then we're going to get our ordered pair. So we're going to steal the pi over 4 family ordered pair, remembering it's in quadrant 2. So quadrant 2, the coordinates are negative x and then positive y. Remember, this is the cosine and this is the sine of this angle, 3 pi over 4. However, tangent, we have to remember, is the sine over the cosine. Okay, it's the sine over the cosine. So we're going to take the sine value, which is the y, divided by the x. Now I'm really not going to do much work because I'm dividing something by itself, so I know it's going to be 1, but in this case it's negative. Okay, the next one, number 4, the secant. Well, I'm not really as good with the secant as I am with its reciprocal, which I know is the cosine, but I'm still going to start the same way. It's the family of pi over 3, so I know what ordered pair I'm going to steal. I know that the angle is in the second quadrant. We know negative x's, positive y's. So now I'm going to combine those two things, the second quadrant and the pi over 3 ordered pair. Okay, so I have the ordered pair. Now I haven't answered the question yet. It's asking for the secant. Now remember, our ordered pair, our shortcut, is that ordered pair is the cosine and the sine of the angle 2 pi over 3. But I know secant is the reciprocal of the cosine. Okay, so I know the cosine is negative 1/2. So the reciprocal of the cosine is negative 2. Because I could write 1 over, remember if you're taking the reciprocal of negative 1/2, our answer will be negative 2. Okay, and then number 5. Number 5 asks the sine of 7 pi over 3. So think about first, what family? See if you can write down the ordered pair for that family. Now let's work on the quadrant it's in. Six pi over 3 is all the way around, so 7 pi over 3 is going to be back in quadrant 1. We know quadrant 1, the x's and y's are both positive, so we have our ordered pair. Now we need to answer the question. And that's sometimes what people forget to do. So remember, once you get that ordered pair, it's not the answer. The sine, this is the cosine of 7 pi over 3 and the sine of 7 pi over 3. So the sine of 7 pi over 3 is root 3 over 2. Okay, the last question, number 6, we're looking for the cosecant of negative pi over 6. Again, figure out your family. And then see if you can write the ordered pair. Next, figure out where negative pi over 6 is. If I used a negative road map, negative pi over 6 is going to be in quadrant 4. Quadrant 4, x coordinates positive, y's are negative. Okay, so I have my ordered pair for the angle negative pi over 6. I know the cosine of it and the sine of it, but they're asking for the cosecant. Remember, the cosecant is the reciprocal of the sine. So the sine is the y coordinate, which is negative 1/2. The reciprocal of negative 1/2